Well, it's election day, and I guess nothing really to report about that, other than I thought about voting twice just to see if it could be done. I'm assuming somebody else is trying this too. I saw something on The View saying that they're not even checking IDs. So I'm assuming somebody else is out there who's going to test this scenario, try it twice or even 3 times. The system seems too convoluted to be. It seems like it could be so corruptized, just even on the inside. Even if they are checking IDs and everything, and nobody can vote twice, how do you know whether ballots are getting stuffed in the background? Whether, or just electronically, just turn up, the poll machine says 2,000 votes for this guy. They just bump it up to 6,000, And the only way that gets caught is if they do a manual check to verify. I don't know. It's just, anyways, somebody else is probably trying that little scenario, but I'm not going to try that, but thought about it. Having a pretty bad couple, I've had a bad last 3 days, have been pretty bad. It's not good having somebody, elusively destruct something that I own. And because the question concerns you, okay, what did I do? Is it going to happen again? And possibly, is it going to get worse? Is something happens where I personally get attacked, right? And the problem is that somebody's done it, and I don't know who for sure. So as you saw in the last clip, I posted the neighbor appears to be who has done this. Now, so I'm on the phone. I'll show some audios of I'm on the phone with Ross from the Redwood Police investigating this. It just really sucks because I'm having to point fingers at people that I maybe shouldn't be doing. I start accusing people of this and that. That's uncomfortable. The whole thing is uncomfortable. And I guess what may have happened is I was making too much noise, and my downstairs neighbor decided to do that. Now, if he's been doing that, he tells me he's got 9 neighbors up here where I'm living. Before me, he's been living down there for 9 years, and he's had 9 tenants up here. So if everybody's moving out of this place, there's got to be a reason. Perhaps everybody's getting their tires slashed. So I'm conducting an investigation with the landlord, finding out what's going on there, and I'm threatening to take him to small claims court. Dan downstairs. It sucks because this is not. I don't need this when I'm trying to study for this certification, and then it's just, and then I got some issues with my family situation is deteriorating, and I mean on my immediate side, there is this nervousness if I get a job. I've got a lot of people betting against me that I can get a job because they don't want me to get a job because that may take away Social Security for my 2 kids, and so they're hoping I don't get it because if I don't get it, the divorce arrangement says that I don't have to pay any child support. Well, that's not my intention is to do that. My intention is to use that as a driving force to get them back up here. and I mean all of them, with the mother. I don't want to take the kids away from their mother. Uh, but when I talked to my sister Ramona, who's, I think I've mentioned it. She's got she's got her hands full right now. She likes to fight. The word she likes that word fight. She does it a lot. She's got a kid. The second kid is, I guess, a father in Minnesota, but she's telling everybody that it's a sperm sample, and at the same time I'm pretty sure she's filing for child support on the guy. And the deal was there was no strings attached when she told him, you know, give me the sperm, and there's no strings attached. So we see the level of character that Ramona's got going. And what happens is that Ramona's talking to Maria, my ex, and that's what scares me, because I don't need, like the devil sitting on your shoulder. I don't need that kind of philosophy talking to my ex. My ex has got a pretty good head on her shoulders until she's being talked to, and then all of a sudden she starts thinking a new story, new game. So I'm concerned about my family situation deteriorating. Both my sister, brother, you know, I'm probably not going to be talking to my sister anymore, Ramona. She's a lost cause. I tell you, man, it scares me that she is talking, that she has relations with my ex-family, with my family, not my ex-wife. This scares me. Really scares me. Because I'm trying to do things peacefully by asking nicely for the ex to move up here. I think Ramona is telling my ex to stay down there. See, this is awful. Why wouldn't I get these hints that, you know, my sister Ramona, she's betting that I don't get a job. She's hoping I don't get a job. I don't like this plan for, you know, trying to siphon the money, trying to use the money as the carrot to make me more happier. And Mona just says everything wrong. Mona says the words that are all fighting words, and words that aren't on my side. They're on Maria's side. It was strange. It's not on Maria's side. It's on Mona's side, and I know Mona's talking to Maria and putting that, and she's talking in her ear, saying, "Don't let him do that. Stay down in the Bahamas. Keep the kids. Get him for more child support." These are things that she says to. And it's really scary, because I already have pretty limited access to my kids the way it is. So, I just found out one of my grants for the Department of Justice got turned down. There's 2 of them in progress, and one's turned down. It helps to talk about this. It helps because it helps me relax. It does. It's get it off my chest. If I were to talk about it with my mom, she just makes it worse. So this is therapeutic, talking about the stuff. I need to relax. I need to not. It would help if I would just not worry about the kids and not worry about a job, and just try to enjoy life. It really would help. So, I don't know. I guess it's lucky in some sense that for the first test, my first test, there was calm waters. I wasn't dealing with everything going on. I could have probably done the second test after 2 weeks, but just the circumstances, I'm going in the cities for a magic show next Tuesday. So that gives me a week from today to get ready. And I could be fully ready in 3 days if I really had to press. So luckily I've got, some time to be able to have these bad days. And like I say, it helps talking about this stuff. It is, tell you, man.
Well, 150 for the tires. I can actually get a statement from them if that helps. 150.
And that's for both of them, or is that a piece?
That is, well, that's together. 2 tires at 75 each. 1 second here. I'm in the middle of an online poker game. Let me just give me 30 seconds here. Well, anyways, yeah. So it cost me $25 to get them plugged, and it's going to be $150 for the new tires. Now, they say that it's possible. They recommend the plug. They even recommend that I not drive on the highway. So, I mean, it's
because right now it's patched, right?
It's patched, right.
The reason they recommend that is because when you have a puncture and it's in the sidewalk, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of times what happens is with patches and stuff, it's still weakened, and if you drive on highway, it adds more stress, and you can have a blowout, which typically is a good thing to have at 55, 60 miles an hour.
No, so yeah, it's got me. Yeah, so I don't know what to do. I guess I need to replace, but I'm just.
And you said, do you know who did it, or have an idea, like names or anything?
Well, okay, since then. Okay, all right, now I took a break. All right, so here we go. Since then, I've been talking. You may have gotten wind from my downstairs neighbor. I had to calm down. Initially, when this occurred, I was blaming the Indians. You heard what I mean. There was a big indication to indicate that there was kind of a hit on my tires because I took away a lady from the Indian. It turns out that it might turn out, I should say might, that it looks like I've got a problem with the downstairs neighbor. As I started investigating, I just started asking him some questions. I also asked him to. This is Wednesday. I asked him, what's going on. Thursday, yeah. And then, Wednesday I asked him downstairs, and he was pretty friendly about that. He says no. So Thursday I put a paper. It's essentially an affidavit. It's essentially a legal paper that says, hey, tell me you didn't do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna, He came upstairs, started yelling at me, and saying, and I'm just like, dude, just sign the thing. Otherwise, I'm gonna take it as small claims, And I'm still fishing. What's your first name? Rob? Ross. Yeah, Ross. So I'm still searching, and it's easy. I'm just, I'm one step at a time. I shouldn't have jumped the gun. I shouldn't have jumped the gun with the Indian story. What did seem like a plausible thing since I've had some trouble with some Indians. Okay, some Indians want me dead or something. Okay, so that was the thing at the VFW. Okay, when I was trying to report a month ago. Okay. That one guy, there's a bouncer there he saw the whole thing. These 2 Indians were wearing a bandanas. They were asking me to go outside. So they want to either beat me or maybe they were playing Cowboys and Indians and was carrying a Colt 40 or a 45 on them and they were ready to end me or something. I'm not sure. I didn't go outside. But I started piecing it all together. I said, this must be an Indian thing, okay? And I jumped the gun because it looks like it may have been the downstairs neighbor. I'm not going to jump the gun too much on that right now. If he doesn't give me the paper, then it looks like more and more that it was the downstairs neighbor. And you saw the hole in my garage, right? The big hole in the garage.
Yeah.
Well,
is he the one that owns the one next to you?
Yeah, the one next to me. What happened is that whoever did that entered from the garage 3. That garage kicked in the wall because they were mad at me. Well, it turns out I had my 2 kids here with me during the summer at that time. It was actually kicked in twice. One time, it was kicked in mostly, and then about a week later, it was kicked in all the way. And both times, my kids were here. And you know what? My kids aren't the quietest, And so I started piecing it together. I said, could this be a psycho neighbor that's going apeshit, on my garage, and then does this to my car? So I started questioning him on Wednesday, and on Thursday the paper. He yells at me. I think he may have gone to the police. He's threatening to go to you, the police, to say, hey, look what this guy's doing, And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And so anyways. So that's where I'm at right now. And I shouldn't jump the gun. I shouldn't make any accusations. I need to settle back and chill out and just let, I feel bad that I accused somebody wrongly. It looks like I accused them wrongly, and I'm going to send them an apology letter. The reservation there, as I feel bad about that. I jumped the gun. Anyway.
Send a letter to you out on the reservation, the Jackpot security, or?
Yeah, security out there.
Okay, and that's because of the one, I listened to the tapes that you sent me now or whatever, and obviously the one got pretty heated towards the end, and I'm assuming you're sending the apology to him?
Yeah, I don't even know who it is. Yeah, I'll just send it to the chief of security or something.
I actually think that's who it is the shift supervisor. I believe he said his name is Dave.
Dave, all right. Yeah.
But yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea because I was actually going to address that with you a little bit later too. I mean, it's one thing to call people and try to get information, but you got to try and remain a little bit calm.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets a little out of line, and I wouldn't want you to get charged out of anything out of it either. So you got to kind of cover your own ass, so to speak.
How would I get charged?
Well, just because when you call somebody and start. When it gets escalated like that, they can claim disorderly conduct. Nothing was said, he hasn't called us or anything like that. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm just saying, there's an FYI for future reference, basically. Like I said, just try to keep it as calm as possible is the best way to go.
Well, that is a good idea. When the neighbor came up, he was kind of irate, but then at the end I started F-bombing it, and kind of in the same manner. I just was, he wouldn't sign the paper. He's just. Anyways, I could send you that. I could send you that audio too. But again, I get a little bit excited. But to say that could be a crime, I'm afraid. I think you're a little bit out of hand saying that would be a crime by swearing at somebody.
Well, no, it's not just the swearing. It's just the fact that you called him and escalated it yourself. It's not just the swearing. I mean, yeah, the First Amendment rights, you can say whatever you want, basically. But it's that you were intentionally calling him is what the issue would be. It'd be, like I said, kind of a harassing kind of thing. But you don't have any issues with it because nobody reported anything. So I was just letting you know for your own reference, basically.
Yeah, it is a good. I mean, it is a good thought. Just remaining calm all the time. And I get mad at myself for getting excited. I was. Actually, when I was talking to that, is that an Indian out there, Dave? Is that an Indian?
I have no idea what nationality or whatever he is. I've only met the guy once. A lot of people can be, partial Indian and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, he seemed offended by the word Indian. I didn't know that was a bad word, but.
Well, there's different people take different things, consider different things, racial slurs and things like that. So. I mean, typically I believe Native American is kind of the consensus as to what you're supposed to say.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is a good idea to just remain calm no matter what. the guy, when I was talking with him, I mean, he was acting so defensively that I could have sworn that was evidence that he did it, right? Because he was like, it was like he knew it, and it was just trying to just blow me off by interfering with everything I was saying. He wouldn't let me get a word in, and then I just got fed up after a while, and I started F-bombing it, right?
I know, I heard that, but I don't think that was the issue. I think it was more he was confused at where the crime occurred, because he's looking at it as if it occurred out at Jackpot, then it's their jurisdiction and they have to do something about it, whereas if it occurred in Redwood, you'd be required to report it to us and we'd have to do something about it. So he was basically trying to figure out where it happened to find out if he had to do anything with it or not. And being that it was reported in Redwood, you know, that's when you noticed they were actually flat within your garage. That would technically make it our jurisdiction, so you did the right thing by reporting it to us and then having me come and take pictures and stuff like that. So it got reported to the right people. And that's what he was trying to address, I think. I don't think he realized that he already reported it to the Redwood Falls police.
Yeah. Well, I did mention in the recording that I was recording this for the purpose of sending it to you, and it only got partially done because of the way it ended, the way it, you know, went on. So, but yeah, I will. Anyways, if you want, you can. I told the neighbor downstairs that you might give him a call or talk to him and find out what's going on, right?
Well, the thing that I would need is what's making you think that it's him that did it. You know, we got to go by proof and a preponderance of the evidence and stuff before we can charge people with things. So what's making you think that it's him that did it? Has he said things, or have you seen him do things, that sort of thing? Do you have anything like that, or is it just kind of suspicion at this point?
Well, it's suspicion. It is kind of like similar to the Jackpot, the way they talk. It's almost like their indication of some kind of the way they act so defensive. It's almost indication. And so, in other words, I may have been thrown off wrongly, but when people, I'm sending him an affidavit, and I'm having him sign it. It's essentially
what exactly does the affidavit say?
It's a legal statement that says he didn't do it.
Okay, so that's basically what it says, is I want you to sign this thing saying that you are admitting that you're not the one that kicked in my wall and slashed my tires, kind of a thing, or?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's basic. Yeah, it's you know, it's kind of like a what's it called? A net. I'm using this legal document as a net to filter out who did what and, you know, where. And if he signs it, then I eliminate him. Just like at the Jackpot, if I knew anybody there, I could give that to them as well and have them sign it. If they refuse to sign it, it indicates to me that they've got something to hide. See?
You got to understand that that's simply indicating it to you. I mean, as far as a legal aspect, he has no legal obligation to sign a paper that you're trying to force him to sign.
I know, but I'm going to be. I told him that I was going to take him to small claims court.
And that's a civil matter. I mean, you're welcome to do that, but like I said, the issue that you're going to run into is that you have to have more than just the suspicion to be able to prove that somebody did something. You get what I mean?
Well, in a civil court, if I take them to court and they don't tell me that they didn't do it, then they're wasting everybody's time, the courts and everybody's time. 1 second. Okay. No, in a civil matter, I've done some lawsuits before, so I understand this, that criminally we can't charge them because we have no evidence. What I'm saying to you is that we should apply. We should use affidavits. You could use affidavits to actually go around and conduct investigations of this matter to find out who did what. And you're saying there's not enough evidence to conduct it. I'm saying, well, in the civilly, if I walk in the courtroom and I say these people did this stuff and they don't tell me they didn't, in the courtroom, then they did, and then I win the case.
Well, I mean, that's a civil matter. Like I said, I don't deal with the civil aspect of it. I only deal with the legal, the law enforcement side of it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The evidence part of it. So I mean, if an affidavit and stuff, that's the way you want to go. I mean, that's kind of your baby, so to speak. You know, I don't have anything to do with that.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Sorry, the poker game threw me off. I may have gotten on the wrong topic there. Sorry. Okay, so I'm away from that. So here we go. I had a good hand. I had to play one hand. Sorry. Anyways, okay. So yeah. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna ask the neighbor to sign this thing. Otherwise, I'm gonna take him to small claims. So you may not hear anything more about this. You can't really do anything else. Is that correct?
As far as going after your neighbor, no, not really. I mean, I can ask him if he did it. Is about it. I mean, other than that, like I said, I have no grounds to arrest him or to detain him or anything like that. But basically, like I said, the reason that I was calling now was I needed the price or whatever on the tires so that I can add that to our report that we previously had taken. And I just wanted to ask you about the recordings that you'd sent me, if that was something that you wanted to put in another report, or if that was something that doesn't need to be filed, what the situation with that is. Because, I mean, if that's the case, if you want that filed, obviously I need more additional information and dates and times and stuff like that from you on those incidences.
On the VFW thing? You mean the...
Yeah, the VFW thing.
All right, I can find that out. Like I say, it was either the September the 25th or 18th. So I'll find that out for you. Otherwise, it's the guy's names. I don't know that in the recording I gave you the name of the bartender that was working. He knows their names. Everybody's familiar with them. They're in town for 10 years. So.
Okay, and what actually happened that night? What was the issue?
Well, they just like, I'm just talking at the bar, and they're like, they come up in bandanas. I thought it might have been Halloween or something. They're in bandanas. It was kind of something from the Wild Wild West, and they tap me on the shoulder and say, "Can you come outside?" I'm like, "No." And the guy next to me is another Indian. He's a friendly one, and he says,
were the bandanas on their face or on their heads?
On their face, like a cowboy, like Wild Wild West.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a scene. It was crazy. It was bizarre, and everybody saw it.
Was there any reason why they would have approached you and not anyone else, or what was going on that night?
No, this legacy from 6 years ago. I run around saying I'm God, and I have this website that I posted that pissed everybody off, and so it's still legacy. I still got this legacy still on hand, and they still want to beat my ass or kill me. These Indians 6 years ago nailed me in the eye. This is 6 years ago. There's actually a report on that. I didn't actually press charges, but they nailed me in the eye, and so there's still legacy. So that's what I'm saying. There's still some hatred out there. They want to take me outside and perhaps shoot me or something. Who knows what exactly? And they said they're here for me. It's like, okay, well. And the Indian beside me said, hey, just ignore them. Anyway, so.
Did they say something to you about your website or about these past issues that would lead you to believe that's what the problem was? Or?
No, they just said, come outside and we're here for you.
Okay, and they didn't give a reason why, or you didn't say anything to them or anyone else that night?
No, I didn't talk to them. I haven't talked to them since I've been in town.
Okay, so you've never seen these guys before?
I've seen them, I just don't talk to them.
Okay. So as far as you know, there's no other reason besides the website that you would think that they'd come after you?
You're gonna have to ask them. I don't know what they're dealing. And I should have gone outside and talked to them, but they look so freaky. I figured I better hold off on that.
Well, exactly. You probably did the right thing. If they were there to do something, the odds are it's better to stay inside where there's people than go outside with them. So they had bandanas on their faces. There's two of them.
Yeah, two Indians. One's a big guy, and the other one's medium. They're both kind of chubby.
What was the date that you thought this was? Was it September 25th or 28th, you thought?
It was a Saturday for sure, and it was the 25th or the 18th of September. It was...
25th would be Saturday.
It was the night they had karaoke that night, and...
Okay, so it's probably the 25th then, since that's a Saturday. Good.
25th. It was a Saturday for sure, and it was either the 25th or the 18th. I'm pretty sure it was 25th.
Okay, we'll put the 25th.
Just the day they had karaoke, that's the key thing. And you talk to the guy I mentioned, what's his name? Let me see what I marked down. Walter. You talk to Walter, he'll know the exact date and the guy's names and everything. He'll know everything. He's the bartender there. He's the one that kind of like escorted him out.
Okay. And you didn't file a report or anything about this that night, or did they physically grab you or threaten you or anything like that? They just said, come outside?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Okay, so there's not actually anything criminal that happened then?
Nope, there wasn't. It's just, you know, we should maybe, again, this is on when I was thinking about the Indians and they got a problem with me, I figured that was probably where the flat tire occurred, right?
Okay, so you want a report that this made?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's, like I said, that's something that we can do. I've got the information and stuff down. Bandanas, 2 of them, they had the bandanas went on their face. One guy was a bigger guy that came up to you in the bar where you were sitting with one of your friends and said, come outside. You didn't go outside. This was on September 25th during karaoke night, and stated that the bartender, Walter, actually had them leave after the incident.
Yes.
That sounds about right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll list that on an ICR and everything, and we'll get that filed away so that that's documented, you know, should something with the same individuals come up later on. Obviously, being there wasn't anything criminal done, I'm not going to arrest anyone or anything over this. Like I said, this will be mainly for information for future reference if something goes wrong or if there's other issues with these guys, okay?
Okay.
So then is there anything else we need to touch on? Or
I think that's it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and then I just wanted to mention to you, too, with the recordings and stuff, it's probably easier if rather than making the recordings and forwarding them to the secretary and then having her forward them to me and stuff, save time, just call the police department and get whatever officers on, and we can take a statement from you right away. It kind of reduces clutter and confusion.
Do you have, I have a couple more recordings with the downstairs neighbor. Would you like to listen to those?
You can forward those to the, actually, I tell you what. Yeah, you can forward those to Abby as well, and just request that they're forwarded to me since you already have them. But like I said, just for the future ones now, rather than, you know, you can keep them for your own records if you want, but we don't really need them unless there's something that we're going to need criminally out of them. I mean, then we'll ask for them. But as far as just reporting things, it's easier to just call us on the phone, and we can take it down just like I did now. And it's a lot faster and less confusing that way.
Yep. If one of the recordings I start F-bombing, you let me know, like, what that, give me a call, let me know feedback on that one, let me know if that was, like, out of hand, you know, which it was, it's just...
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, you know it was probably, shouldn't have gone that way,
right.
But like I said, there's no issue if he doesn't call and report or want to charge anything, obviously there's no issue. If there's not a victim, there's not a crime, so...
And that could be called as, what's it called? It's called, when you yell at somebody, it's called what?
It could be various things. I mean, it could be harassment if it's something that you're continually, you know, trying to get stuff from a certain person or whatever, and it escalates to that. It can be considered harassment, or it can be considered disorderly conduct, which is basically stated as you're being disorderly to another individual. Here, if you want to wait a second, I can actually... read you verbatim what the statute says.
Ross, if I hand him another paper that says, please sign this, and here's why, because I'm going to take it as small claims, is that something that he can file a restraining order on me for?
Technically, if he doesn't want you, you know, trying to make him sign these things, technically he could say that you're harassing him, basically. So, I mean, that's, like I said, that's typically why you need to come to law enforcement first, because we're the ones that are supposed to investigate things. A lot of times people take it personally when you're trying to investigate your own deals. You know, they take more offense to it rather than an officer coming.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Okay, thanks, Ross.
Yep, bye.
Okay, bye. Ross, Chris Roller again. Hey.
Hey.
What was the statute? You were going to read me a statute, and what was that about again?
It's disorderly conduct. Hang on one second, I'll pull it up. It would be 609.72.
Okay.
You want me to read it to you, or do you want to look it up?
Yeah, I guess if it's not too long, go ahead and
Yeah, no, it's not long at all. Yeah, it's 609.72,
Okay.
disorderly conduct.
Okay.
Basically reads like this. Subdivision 1 states the crime is whoever does any of the following in a public or private place, including on a school bus, knowing or having reasonable grounds to know that it will or will tend to alarm, anger, or disturb others or provoke an assault or breach of the peace,
Okay.
is guilty of disorderly conduct, which is a misdemeanor. And then it has a couple other subdivisions off of 1. Engages in brawling or fighting, obviously that's disorderly. Number 2 is disturbs an assembly or meeting, not unlawful in its character. So, if there's like an assembly of people and you're being disruptive in that. Number 3 is engages in offensive, obscene, abusive, boisterous, or noisy conduct in an offensive, obscene, or abusive language tending to reasonably to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment in others.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Boy, you didn't think that swearing. I mean, this was our national conduct when I was in the Navy. It was not angry swearing, but it was. But it's not so much the swearing that's doing it. It's the actually being angry that counts, or what?
Well, it's the raising the voice. The swearing can be part of it too. I mean, it says the obscene part of it, abusive language. So that's kind of in the eye of the beholder, Obviously, like you said, in the Navy, to swear around a sailor, that's obviously where the saying, he swears like a sailor came from. But now, if you go to, say a Catholic priest and use that language, obviously he's going to find that more offensive than a sailor's going to. Get what I mean?
I understand. It's okay. So when you heard that recording with the jackpot, that could they could actually file charges on me. Is that correct?
If he wanted to, he could. But like I said, as of now, I haven't heard anything of the sort, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Well,
I haven't heard anything from your neighbor either, but
I'm worrying because that seems like quite a law. That some guy is being rude to me. I'm trying to investigate somebody doing a terroristic act to me. I'm trying to tell him my story. He continually interrupts me, keeps talking and talking and talking. I finally get pissed off. I start swearing, and you're going to tell me that I committed a crime.
there's only a crime if he feels that it was offensive or obscene. Get what I mean?
Ross, I get you, man. I'm scared to death. I'm literally scared.
Well,
I'm shaking. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. That's why I had to call you. I had to say, this is that this guy could be so rude to me on the phone at Jackpot that he wouldn't allow me to at least tell my story. And I get upset. I get pissed off. Start swearing. And here I could get a misdemeanor for that.
yeah.
And you're telling me that I can just sit here and be calm, somebody slashes my tires, a terroristic act, I have no idea where it came from, I can't investigate, I can't even talk to my neighbor downstairs because he's going to file a restraining order on me, or if I start swearing at I'll give you the recording of the audio. I am swearing at him as well. He was yelling at me, I yelled back. Anyways, again, he could file charges on me for that. You get the problem here. Somebody has done something illegal to me, a terroristic act, just like somebody bombed 9/11, and somebody did something to my tires, and I am trying to investigate. And yes, if I do encounter people who are resistant and get excited, how dare I get excited, or else I get filed with a misdemeanor. Do you understand?
I understand your frustration, but I mean, you got to look at it from the other people's perspectives too. I mean, you can't, claim that somebody did something without the actual grounds to do it, because that's, say my tires got slashed on my vehicle, say I'm not a cop or whatever, and we live next to each other, and just some random day out of the blue, I knock on your door and I say, Chris, I think you slashed my tires. I want to know why you slashed my tires. And you tell me, I don't know what you're talking about. I never even did anything, what are you talking about? And I say, well, Chris, I know we parked next to each other. My tires were slashed. I can't think of anyone else who would have done it. I thought there might have been a couple other guys that I might have, had issues with, but I'm starting to think maybe it's you. What are you going to say to me?
What I'm going to say to you is I didn't do it, and two, I will willing to swear to it with a sworn statement under oath.
But what we got to look at is now, I catch you off guard, right? Say you're sitting at home, minding your own business, and now I come up to you, and I'm telling you that I think this is you. I'm kind of accusing you. We're without a basis, so to speak. I mean, like I said, I could know in my head, or to myself, that I'm, pretty sure it's you. But I don't have you on camera, I don't have fingerprints or anything like that. It's me telling you that I think it was you. And now I'm saying, I think you need to sign this to prove that it wasn't you. I think you need to prove that you're innocent rather than me proving that you're guilty. You get what I mean?
Ross, I'm a different person, and I have no problem signing anything to you. If you were to walk up to me and accuse me of something, I would help you investigate to find out what happened. In fact, I would offer you a service I've implemented in the legal system called Truth Under Oath, which prevents people from lying under oath. So I'm going to help you to investigate by handing out statements in a filter network, basically screening to find out who didn't do it, and that will eliminate who did not do it, and then you can find who did do it. Yes, I'm a different person, Ross. I have no problem with anybody accusing me of anything.
Mm-hmm.
No
So
problem.
you got to understand that other people take that a little more offensive than what you would. Not everybody's the same, and that's basically what the disorderly conduct law is supposed to cover, is that everybody has different limits. You know what I mean? Does that make sense at all?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Ross. I'm just, wow. I mean, I'm flabbergasted here. If I send you this audio and the neighbor comes complaining to you, you can actually file a charge on me and I gave you the evidence.
Well, and I mean, I would have to if he came to me and wanted to file a charge. I mean, like I said, that's his legal right. I'm the gatekeeper. I'm not the one that's necessary unless I see it or whatever. I'm not the one that's saying, you did this. Typically, it's somebody who wants to file a criminal charge against somebody else, and I'm the gatekeeper for it. So they come and they file a complaint and they show me their evidence, and if I think that there's the evidence or whatever the grounds to do it, then I'm going to approach that person from a legal capacity. I represent the people, basically. I'm a public servant as a police officer.
I understand. This law has got me really flabbergasted. Okay, you know that we don't know exactly what happened on 9/11. Do you know that we started a war? We started a war that's costing over, $2 trillion now? A war based on no evidence?
Yeah, I actually understand that. My brother fought in that war.
Okay, and hope to God he didn't get shot at or something, but let's think about it. We are going to war over something that we're not sure what exactly happened. And your brother is maybe dying in the process. So this can be almost more personal because you have a brother that's in there that he could have died as a result of somebody to think about my circumstance. I am just going around. What I would do if I was 9/11, if this was 9/11 and somebody terroristic attacked me, I would initiate countermeasures that would put up gates all over the place in Redwood Falls. Gates, locks, picks, so that you have to be careful. You now have to gain entry. I would then you have to get patted down like at the airports. You have to get patted down, and so you understand my point. My point, Ross, is that
I understand the scale on that, but you got to look at it too, Chris. I mean, think about how much of an overbearing government that would be. You'd have no freedom of movement whatsoever. It'd be like a dictatorship, hardcore. Nobody could do anything. That's your Fourth Amendment rights. Protection against unlawful search and seizure and detention and things like that. I mean, that's pretty restrictive to do something like that. There'd be a lot of people that would be pretty outraged by something like that.
We are losing lives as a result of 9/11 and not knowing what exactly happened. There's a whole bunch of soldiers, and your brother could have died out there. People are dying as a result of somebody making a decision, for instance, you making a decision, hey, we need to go and launch a war against Jackpot or my neighbor.
we need to start firing bullets. You understand? That's the analogy. I'm making an analogy at 9/11, and what I'm saying is that I'm doing something very simple here. I'm just asking questions, and you somehow make me out to be a misdemeanor. Do you get it?
Yeah, no, I understand, but like I said, it's the same thing, you know, it takes a decision to make a war, it takes a decision to not make a war. You know, it's kind of a horse's teeth. It's up to whoever's making the decisions, really. And like I said, you know, I mean, this law here is a basis to protect everybody as well-rounded as it possibly can. Like I said, everybody has different levels of intimidation and what they consider obscene and abusive and things like that, and that would be basically determined by a judge. But I mean, as far as the laws, I don't make the laws. You know, I mean, if you have issues with laws and stuff, you'd have to talk to your legislature. You know, I mean, that's technically the people make the laws. They elect the representatives and people like that who are the ones that pass the laws. So I mean, that's a whole system that I don't have any control over besides casting a vote for who I want to represent me in Congress, basically. I'm just the one that has to enforce the laws.
Okay. At least hopefully I've made my point that, you know, what I'm doing is fairly simple. I'm just going in a simple manner, going around asking questions. And if I get excited, I'm the guy committing the crime. That's amazing to me. Anyway, so my point's made. All right, so thank you for that statute. Yeah, thank you for being around. I was wondering. Okay. So I have to be careful. I have to be civil. I have to be very civil, especially if people come across as buttheads to me. I have to be very civil about what I do.
Basically, what I would use for a good rule of thumb, and I mean, like I said, I'm not telling you to go and investigate or condoning it or whatever. You know, I mean, what you do is your own thing. But like I said, if you're going to go and talk with people, the best way to do it, like I said, is be civil. Try not to swear. You know, ask whatever questions you want. If they ask you to leave, you have to leave. You can't continue. If they don't want to talk to you anymore, you can't keep talking to them. That's where you're going to run into problems, is if you start forcing people to do something, or if you keep doing it after they've asked you to stop, is when you're going to run into the issues. Get what I mean?
Okay. I want to hand my neighbor one more letter, just to let him know that I plan on suing him.
Is that something that necessarily needs to be sent or hand given, or is that?
No, I'm just going to leave it at his door.
Okay, that's not a problem.
That's not a problem.
Has he asked you to leave him alone or anything like that?
Yes, he has.
Okay, so like I said, you know, that's as far as now, I won't have any contact with him in person. If you want to leave a letter by his door, so be it.
Okay, can I give you the letter and you give it, you deliver it to him, and you can ask him some questions about what happened?
I can't do anything like that. That's, like I said, the civil issue. I only deal with criminal things. If you wanted somebody else to serve it, you'd have to contact the process server.
No, I don't mean serving it. I just want somebody, instead of serving, I need to give it to him, and but I want you to investigate what happened. I want you to interrogate him a little bit to find out what happened. I want you to serve the people a little bit, and find out, ask him if he did it.
Well, I can ask him if he did it. Like I said, I mean, I can't interrogate him. Interrogating is typically construed with arresting somebody. We interrogate suspects and stuff like that. I can, you know, question somebody who would be a person of interest. I can ask him a few questions, but I mean, I think we both know what he's going to say.
Okay. I need to get this letter to him. All right, so I would like to give it to you and then you can hand it to him while you're asking him some questions. Is that a deal, or how do I do this?
Well, I'd just call him is what I'm going to do. I have no need to go to him in person.
Oh, you want to call him?
I'm just going to give him a phone call and see if he knows anything. And I mean, like I said, odds are he's probably not going to be very happy with the way you've been going about it. So I mean, by me calling him, I'm probably going to get an earful about you as well. You know. What was his name again?
Dan Okins.
Dan Okins. Do you know how to spell Okins? Is it O-T?
O-K-I-N-S.
O-K-I-N-S. Okay. And he lives below you, did you say, or right next to you?
Below.
Okay. You don't have a phone number for him, do you?
I do not.
Okay.
you know, somebody kicked in that wall in the garage. I'm just saying, if somebody's willing to do that and slash my tires, you know, I have a little bit of a safety concern here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and like I said, I don't doubt that whatsoever. But I mean, as far as the wall being kicked in again, that's something that's got to be addressed with the landlord. I mean, if it's a tenant that's next to you that's kicking in the wall, obviously the issue is going to be with the landlord is going to want that fixed and want that paid for. And I know you told me before that you spoke with your landlord. Was anything going to be done about it?
I have, since this occurred, I have patched it up myself, figuring she takes forever to fix something, so I did it myself.
Okay. Well, I have a couple numbers for Dan here, so like I said, I can give him a call and I can ask him, you know, if he knows anything about it. But like I said, I'm be putting my money on that he's going to say no, that he has no idea what happened, and that's about the extent of what I can really do.
I need to put just another letter. One more is all. I just need to give him a letter. Otherwise, I'm just going to mail it to him in the mailbox. But I was going to put it on his door, indicating that.
They're putting it at his door. I mean, whatever is least intrusive at this point. Like I said, if he's asked you to leave him alone, you can't really go against that.
I think he smashed in. I think he destructed my stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When exactly are we going to look at what's happened to Chris Roller?
That's what I am looking at.
Okay. I'm just saying, somebody has committed a terroristic act against me.
Well, technically, it doesn't fit the terroristic act statute. It's criminal damage to property is what it would be.
Well, it's like that. It's like that. Anyways, I'm just doing something very civil, and that is putting a paper there to let them know what my plans are.
Yeah, and there's no problem with that. You can put a piece of paper there. And like I said, just don't personally confront him at this point.
Oh, no, I'm not personal. In the letter, I'm saying I don't want to have any, you know, no more confrontation. Okay, so you're allowing me to put the letter there at his door. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
like I said, that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was asking. That's all I was trying to get at. Okay, thank you, Ross, for your time. I appreciate it, sir.
Yep.
Are you available this week? When's your next days off? Or,
I should be working for a while here
Okay.
now, so.
okay, I think that's it. Thank you, sir.
Yep, Mike.
Okay, but the thing that happened at the VFW with the two Indians, one of the guys that was part of that too, in a bandana, was also one of the two guys that actually batteried me, hit me in the eye 6 years ago. Okay, so
Okay.
whatever was stirring them up back then is still stirring them on now. At least the one guy.
You don't recall what his name is?
It might be on the police report. There's two guys that hit me. The guy I'm referring to did not hit me. It was the other guy. So 6 years ago, it was this big dude, 400-pound. I call him Indian Bubba. He smacked me in the eye, and I didn't press charges. But this guy I'm referring to is sort of the Batman and Robin. He's the Robin in the dynamic duo. He lets the big guy do the work, and then he's kind of at his side for basically the 2-on-1 kind of a deal. So Robin was available for this. Was the guy? He was there at the VFW and 6 years ago when I was actually struck.
Okay, so his name and stuff would be in that police report?
The name, I'm not sure if I got both names, or I'm guessing. I'm guessing both names are there. But for sure the guy that hit me is in there.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look back and see if I can find those names and add it to the report that you just gave me earlier today.
All right. I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
Yep, Mike.
All right, thanks. Chris, how's it going?
Oh, it's going nice. I'm getting a lot done around here, a lot of sorting. And that's what counts. And I'm doing a lot of my workouts, so what about you? What's going on with you?
Dealing with this, the vandalism thing, dealing with the police, and my downstairs neighbor, you know?
Oh, don't know.
Okay, well, I have one. His name is Dan, and I'm trying to investigate with him what's going on, and I'm using this old thing that you don't like, and you swear up and down that I'm some kind of idiot for using it.
Can we not go into that? My God, it's repeating everything. I'm not, you asked me how it is. I'm in a really happy mood. Try not to put me out of one.
Well, I'm not in a good mood because something has occurred to me, this sort of like I call a terroristic act, where I don't know where it came from, I don't know what I did wrong, nobody's telling me anything. I'm having trouble getting anything done to investigate it, and in the process
Okay, what's the bottom line? You're not happy because whatever, and so there's got to be a point other than just unhappy. I know you're unhappy. I could tell that when you got on.
Yeah. Well, I'm just.
Where's it all leading to?
It's basically leading to. I can't wait to get a job and get out of the state. That's what it's leading down to.
Okay, so what's your next step? What have you done about it?
I mean, I wish I had this job lined up right now so I could just get out of here, because this is crazy what's going on. I mean,
Well, whatever. I'm not going to talk you in it or out of it one way or the other, Chris. You're going to be you no matter what. You know, you say that I say you're crazy for this here true thing. It doesn't matter if I think you're crazy. You're going to go on and do it, you know. I just throw it out that I don't agree with you and I don't believe in it, but, you know, I'm not saying you're crazy. A lot of people believe a lot of things that I don't, but they're not crazy, Chris. They're just different. You know, like religions. There's a lot of different religions. A lot of people believe in it. I don't. A lot of people believe in certain conspiracy theories. What's his face, former governor, I don't think he's crazy. Well, maybe. But I liked him. And, you know, he's really into conspiracy theories. So everybody is got beliefs that I don't agree with, but I don't necessarily think they're crazy, okay? So anyway, I talk longer than my 30 seconds, but really, it's like, just make your plans, let us know, and, you know, if we can't physically help you, we can't do a heck of a lot to help you, but give us your address when you get there, and when the kids come, I'll come down and join you, wherever you're at, if you're down there, down yonder. Because you're not going to listen to my idea. That is simply blow it off. You can live with it. It's not something you got to be terrified about, you know. See, that's where terrorists, say they are terrorists, that's how they win. That's how they win. They don't win in any, the same thing with the terrorists of our country, is that they have people living in fear. You can stay here and not live in fear and have a good time, or you can leave and maybe not live in fear, or maybe live in fear down there. I don't know. Yep. So, anything else? Yeah, I don't mean to be rude, but bottom line, I was thinking about getting up pretty soon here and working again. I could always put you on speakerphone, I suppose, when you could, you know.
Well, there's not much to say. It's just,
yeah, you know, whatever. I don't know, you know, right or wrong, is it true or isn't it true? People have bad things happening to them every day. Or not every day, I don't. But I've certainly had my share of bad things, Chris. A hell of a lot of bad things, but I've always gotten through it. I mean, from the time I was little, there was things, but I've always been a positive. Not always, but I mean almost always. It's like, I can make it, I can do it, and that's the way I am now. There's a lot of things that I don't like, but I make it. And I make it because there's so many things I do like. I really have, I'm really fortunate. I have a really good spirit. A really strong one, so.
Yeah, I basically, you know, the plan was to let the job bring me out of the state. Yeah, I could move to Atlanta in the next few weeks. It would make that easier if Mona was talking to me. Maybe she'd give her an email or text message or something. But to check out Atlanta, but I think it'd be best if I let the job take me somewhere instead of assuming the job is there.
Okay, so then what are you saying exactly then?
What I'm saying is it would be best if I had a little more time before I moved to let the job
Well,
take me.
yeah, so what, well, that's a duh, Chris, so that's not what you started out. You started out saying, you know, you're going to have to move before the job. And you're saying it would be best if you didn't have to. But, so what? You're going to move out, it sounds like, whether you have a job or not. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to move to Atlanta just to find out the job is in New Jersey or something. You know.
Exactly. That's why you don't let the terrorists win, if that's what it is. You just decide you're going to have a good life. You're going to, you know, stay away from the areas that are scary to you. You have nothing to fear. I take it if you think your downstairs neighbor's got something against you, is that correct? Don't give me any details. Is that correct? You brought in your downstairs neighbor. Is he a friend or foe?
I've always said hi to him before, and then I started questioning him, and all of a sudden he becomes defensive, and so now I'm starting to wonder if it was him.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, no, people don't like to be accused of something. I would be, you know, I get defensive too if I'm not guilty of something, or I have, not always, but I have many times. So, yeah, I understand that. Shit, when I was in the 6th grade, somebody stole something, and we were all being questioned. None of us were being allowed to go home after school.
Okay.
Until the person that stole it admitted it.
Okay.
And I looked as guilty as hell. I wasn't, but I had something on my mind that made me look guilty. And it was simply that I had to get home. I had to babysit. I didn't want to tell him I had to babysit because I was afraid I wasn't supposed to be babysitting at my age or something like that. That's the way dumb kids are. And I looked so guilty. And, it's a lesson in life.
Did somebody fess up? Did somebody fess up?
I can't remember, to tell you the truth. All I remember is that for a while there they thought I was guilty. And no, there's no way that I was. But we got to go home eventually, but I lost my job. I lost my job because the gal I was going to babysit for, she had to get to work. She had to get another one. Naturally, she liked me. But naturally, she wanted somebody she could count on. But the good news is, I told my mother about it when I got home, that it was why we were kept after school. And my mother went over and talked to her, and because she liked me, she kept me on, So I just missed a couple of days' work. But yeah, there are just times when something, when we look guilty and we're not. And there's times, I suppose, when people don't look guilty, and they are. Yeah, so. But anyway, I would say, there's such a thing as forgiving and loving, and, I would just start loving everybody. Love the downstairs neighbor. Love them. Be happy. Happiness, you can't be happy and sad at the same time.
It's just that it's really taking a bite out of my studies. I mean, I can't, it helps if you're at peace when you're studying, and all of a sudden I've got this.
I know, and that's why I'm trying to encourage you to be at peace. And the way you're at peace is through love. It's that simple. I'm telling you, that's the secret. And, love, goodwill, peace on earth, That's what the message of Jesus was, in Christmas time. It's peace and goodwill. The angels came to announce that there was to be a man who was to bring peace and goodwill to earth. You know, and I mean, I'm not saying it's a true story, but I am saying that it is true. That in our own hearts we can have peace and goodwill, and things don't have to bother us. So anyway, that reminds me, you'll love them. I don't know if you have them or not, but I was looking at some old backup pictures that I had, and I got the cutest ones of us, Nicole and Dylan, just before they moved, and then when they came home for their first visit that year, okay?
Oh, you
For
got
the second year.
Oh, you found some pictures?
And I don't know if you have them or not,
No,
so
no.
I'm gonna have,
Yeah, get them to me. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll try, do I have a program on my computer that'll burn a disk? Otherwise I can maybe try to put them on a stick. Do you know?
I'm not sure
I
if that,
think-
I'm not sure if that comes with. Yeah, I think it's part of the auto. Yeah, I think it's Yeah, I think Windows comes
Part of the
next.
software,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not a program, but you just simply drag the stuff to a blank disk. You drag it there, and then you
A blank DVD.
you drag it there, and then then you.
Cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, they are so cute. You're gonna love them. You're gonna love them. So anyway, yeah. So I happened to see that last night. That'll give you a piece. I'll make a copy of them sometime today and drop them off tomorrow when I go to my workout. How does that sound?
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, I can't give you any more of a pep talk than what I give you. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things in life that make us want to run. I wanted to run many times, and so I understand how you want to do it sometimes. But I would wait until I got that job offer if I were you, or at least until you knew that, hey, you'd rather live down south. Although, that's the other thing, Chris. If you want to live where it's warm, you don't want to take a job in New Jersey.
Well, there's
you can be specific. You can wait a year. You could take your time and get the job where you want the job, is what I'm saying. But I mean, that's assuming that you really want to go down where it's warm. But we might have a really warm winter here this year, too. So far we're having a great beginning. Would you agree?
we're having a good what now? A good.
Great beginning to a winter.
Yeah,
A good
it's
winter.
actually fairly warm. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's darn nice for this time of the year. Could definitely be worse. So, all right. Well, I'll drop that off tomorrow sometime. As a pictures, you'll really enjoy them. I know I did. I hadn't seen them for years, so I really got a bang out of it. And I'm going to get back to work now. And you know me, when I get inspired to work, I work. That's the only time I work is when I get inspired to. I've been getting my bedroom real clean. I'm getting my tubs all sorted, my puzzles all put away nicely, so that my living room will be nice and neat. You'll be surprised one of these days.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk another time, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right. Okay. I was just reading the statute, and I guess I could probably. The statute you gave me, 60972. How did you have that in front of you? How did you know about that statute? How did you have it in front of you when you called me earlier today?
I looked it up online.
Looked it up online. Okay, so I guess it was because of my recording that you decided that you should probably inform me about the statute, or what?
Yeah, basically. Like I said, I just didn't want you to wind up getting yourself entangled in anything.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the warning. I really do. But I can almost use this as perhaps a sort of an offense, because the guys, the Indians in that VFW, basically according to this, broke the law. I mean, they're creating a disturbance, and it looked like it was. I mean, they're basically assaulting me. I mean, there was a threat that there was a threat of danger. That's assault. Is there any chance that we could go further with this, or what?
Well, the trouble with it is that it's so old at this point. There's statutes of limitations on things, and to be honest with you, I'm not 100% on what it is on disorderly conduct, but a lot of times, in order for us to arrest somebody, it has to either happen in our presence, or we have to have the proof that it happened, because it's a misdemeanor charge. It's not, a higher level crime. So basically, what would have needed to be done is you would have needed to either call us to the VFW immediately, or you would have needed to file a report immediately. And then what would happen is we file a report or whatever, and we'd go long form or see if there's witnesses, things like that, forward it over to the county attorney, and then they decide if there was going to be charges and stuff like that. The things that don't happen in our presence, we can't usually arrest people for. There's only about four misdemeanor charges that don't happen in our presence that we can arrest for.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for an arrest, but more of a citations, investigation of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Find out.
Well, I mean that's what the investigation is. The information I took down from you or whatever, like I said, we would put in a report, and that's basically what the investigation is. Now we'll see if we can get a hold of this Walter at some point and see if he remembers anything. I mean, obviously, if he doesn't remember things, it makes it a little more difficult. That's why when things happen, you need to report them immediately. It makes it a lot easier for everyone.
Well, I didn't know at the time that my tires were going to get slashed, so now I have to go back in the past and start investigating the things that have been occurring, right?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, it might be a little bit harder to link that it was them that did your tires. It's kind of quite a bit of time in between. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that it wasn't them, but would they know where you live? How would they have found that out?
It's, you can pretty much Google anything these days.
Not true.
That's not so much the mystery. I'm sure that they could get my address if they want to. I just was. If somebody, a few months back, somebody in a bar, they thought I left, but I was just reading the bulletin board at the Legion, and they said, yeah, I was gonna. It's too bad he left. I was gonna blindside him, and that meant I just left, and they thought I was gone, so they were talking about me. So I'm glad he left. I was gonna blindside him. And is that considered? I did report that. What's the sergeant's name there?
Savati?
Yeah, I think that's it. Now, is that something that's disorderly?
You did report that to Sergeant Savati?
Yes, about 2 days later.
Okay, and what became of that?
He said, well, he basically said nothing could come of it, but I was just curious what your thoughts are.
Well, that's, like I said, it's kind of the same thing. It's a time deal. We have to be able to get there and basically see it kind of going on, or we have to have some kind of proof that it happened, which would be witness statements, things like that, camera footage.
Okay. What is the time limit for reporting these things?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% on all of them. Like I said, as soon as possible, the best.
Okay. So if Jackpot were to call you up and say, listen, disorderly conduct on that roller guy, you would entertain him?
If they called up and said that they had camera footage of somebody assaulting you or doing something disorderly to you, yeah, we could charge them.
No. I meant that recording that I had on the phone with him, and they called you up.
Yeah, if he called me and said that he wanted to press charges or whatever, yeah, the recording could be used as evidence. But like I said, that's me charging you or whatever doing a report and sending out, a deal saying, you're being charged with disorderly conduct doesn't automatically make you guilty. That means that you're being charged with something and you're going to have to go before a court and basically say your side of it, kind of thing. All that happens or whatever by me charging you with something like that or whatever is basically says that, okay, you and this guy have to go to court and sort this out, basically. The judge is ultimately the one that decides what you get charged with.
Okay. So you're telling me that if they did call up, that things would start happening, but...
Yeah, that would get the ball rolling.
Well, it's interesting. The ball wants to get rolling whenever I'm on the defensive, but whenever I want to go on the offensive, the ball doesn't want to get rolling.
Well, like I said, I don't know what to tell you with that. Different circumstances.
What I'm saying is that it appears as though you look up the statute because you have something against Roller and you want to maybe get him, so you better warn him or something. It's like you almost like you're wanting to arrest me, and yet
That's not really the case. I've never dealt with you before yet.
Well,
It's the first time I've ever met you.
Well, I'm just saying in general when I talk to policemen, they are usually looking to get me and never to look out for me. So I'm just cautious because that's why I was asking if I were to bring up this thing in the VFW, you're kind of like, well, you're not saying, well, we'll initiate a crime, and you're not saying, well, we'll charge them and then we'll figure out if it's past the time for doing this. What you're saying is, oh, we're not sure if it's past the time, so we're not going to worry about it. You get the difference?
The difference is that I don't have any evidence on what these guys did to you besides what you're telling me. I have evidence of what you did to this guy should he want to come forward. But like I said, I put my money on that he's not going to come forward, or he would have already. That's the time thing. If he wanted to press charges, he would have already.
Okay. It's just the evidence is the Walter guy. I mean, everybody saw what happened at the VFW. I'm just saying, this is, this thing occurred. This was a scene. This was a scene. This was like a Halloween scene at the VFW. Everybody's wondering what the hell's going on with these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
They come in with the bandanas on, look like Wild Wild West. Who knows, packing heat or whatever. I'm just saying. It seems like when I'm asking for some help, you guys are anxious to say, well, it's probably past the time to report it, and then what you should have said, if you wanted to make it sound right, is, well, we'll charge them, and then we'll figure out if they're past the timeline for reporting. You see, the difference is how you come across to me. It seems like you don't want to help me out, but you're anxious to arrest me.
Well, I think I've been more than helpful to you at this point.
I know you have. I'm saying in general, this is the way that the police in general treat me. I used to live in Burnsville last year, and they're a bunch of buttheads, to say the least, over there in Burnsville, Savage area. You've been pretty decent, but I just want to point out the way it appears sometimes. It's like, well, Roller's got a point. Let's see, there's a jackpot. The guy's not letting him say a word. He's not letting him say what happened. He's interrupting him at every moment that Roller's speaking. Roller issues a few F words, and then Ross says, I better look up the statutes and see if Roller committed a crime here.
Well, the only reason I looked at the statute is so that I could tell you verbatim what it said. I could have told you off the top of my head what statute came to mind when I heard the recording. I mean, that's not something that I looked up specifically to try to find something to get you in trouble for. That's what I heard when the tape recording came over. That was the first thing that popped into my head was, this sounds a little upsetting.
I'm picking on you a little bit, but I just want to point out that it just appears that I'm always on the bad end of the stick. That this guy could be so rude to me at Jackpot, and you got to warn me about statute because I have committed a misdemeanor, possibly. That guy was rude to me at Jackpot. Really rude to me.
Well, I understand how you could take that as rude, but the thing is, he didn't say anything aggressive towards you. All he was doing was trying to explain that he needed to know if it happened at Jackpot or if it happened in Redwood, because he was looking at it is if it didn't happen at Jackpot, he has nothing to do with it and doesn't basically need to do an investigation or talk to you anymore at that point, is what he was trying to say. The way it sounded to me was that Devotee just didn't understand quite what the other one was trying to say and it just got out of hand.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your time again, sir. So I was just going to find out about how the statute works whenever Chris Roller's on the offense, and I find out once again that it doesn't work.
Well, like I said, it's unfortunate sometimes the way stuff works.
Okay, so thank you, Russ.
Yep, bye.
All right, bye.
Hi, you've reached Danica Zarfus Kidd at the Bureau of Justice Assistance. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave me your name and number, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day. Bye.
Hi, Danica. This is Chris Roller with Truth Under Oath. I applied for a grant for the wrongful conviction. But I'm just making my rounds. It's been a while since I've chatted. I'm just trying to get some attention, I guess, for something that's pretty incredible, which is Truth Under Oath, which helps the legal system out incredibly. I'm having to ask for grants, but I feel that I should just get $1 million a day for this. Basically prevent people from lying under oath, and that's an incredible thing when there's a lot of people that used to be committing perjury and is no longer possible. I'm willing to show you. I've shown you some proof. As I've mentioned, I'm in a case right now where I'm got somebody in the courtroom for perjury, and all they had to do is tell me under oath that they didn't commit perjury, and they're not doing it. So we're in a civil case now. I'm willing to. I've got a bunch of Minnesota federal cases that I've accused people of trying to kill me, and none of them have said they didn't. So the reason why they don't say it is because it'd be a lie. I guess I'm in constant danger. It's part of the thing of being Jesus or God. I guess it's a threat to the devil's advocates, all the people working for the devil in the justice system. I guess is who are against me. I guess I'm in danger. So there's a lot of evidence to support what I'm talking about. I'm making my rounds. I've asked. Anyway, so I'm looking for some attention. I'm looking for some money for this. I want to get paid as incredible as I am. I appreciate a call back, 507-637-0918. Thank you.
Justice Assistance. I'm unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name, number, and the message, and I'll return your call as soon as I'm able.
Hi, Deborah. This is Chris Roller with Truth Under Oath. I applied for a grant for the terrorism prevention. I've got a service, Truth Under Oath, which prevents people from lying under oath, and it's kind of it's the only miracle we have on the planet. And so what I'm trying to do is get paid for this. It's for being Jesus, I wasn't sure that I didn't think I would have to ask for grants for implementing a miracle on the planet. But what this does is terrorism. No more waterboard. You don't need to waterboard anybody or conduct harsh investigations of people. All that's needed is a simple civil done affidavit, sworn in statement under oath, and that it keeps people from lying. With that, you can isolate what's going on, and it's an invaluable service, and it's actually worth $1 million a day. If I could get paid, right now it seems like I'm getting paid a million fingers a day by the legal system, but I'm hoping that I can get some attention via the Department of Justice and get funded, because it's truly a remarkable thing. Appreciate the call back, 507-637-0918, and thank you for your time. Bye. Dick?
Yes?
Hey, it's Chris Roller with Socrates.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Hey. So, what do you think of this upcoming election?
Hard to make anything out of it until it happens, but it doesn't sound like the polls have it going the way I would like. How about you?
I was just watching 60 Minutes, and just the topic of, it's like they're talking about who cares? Who cares who's in it? I mean, they're all a bunch of dirtbags,
They are. Well, right.
Yeah, and it,
I got it on, but I've been kind of working on the computer. It's on right now in the kitchen, and we're been answering the door for trick or treaters. So I figured, I might as well do some multitasking, but I'm not getting done on anything.
yeah.
There's the doorbell again. Yeah. Go ahead, sure. I'm on the phone.
If you're busy, I can talk to you later too.
No, I'm not that busy, but we get a trick or treater occasionally here because we got a lot of young kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's just
There's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. It's controlled by corporations, you know that. No matter who gets in, you can have primary elections, but they set up the candidates for you to pick from, and it's their candidates. Then they set those candidates in two different parties, and then you choose which one of those is the corporate electorate you want.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
right. Which dirt do you prefer?
You don't really have choices.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
which
really.
which dirt do you prefer? Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a question I was trying to bring up, or the question I posed in Socrates. It's like, what's the use of going to the Socrates if there's nothing we can do about it? I mean,
Well, I think discussing it helps. If nothing else, it helps us to understand what the rest of the world is thinking. And then by that, you're looking for that opposite side opinion. That why does this person think like that? Like I have a hard time believing how Jim thinks because of the fact that he's a pretty intelligent person, And the only thing I can think of is that the way he thinks and supports people that protect his monetary interests, but I don't think it's protecting his future generations' interests. If he has, I don't know that he's got any grandkids. He never talks about them. But that's who I would think, that I'm protecting if it costs me more money today. I want to protect my kids and grandkids, and that's why I support, like, single-payer universal health care. That's the way I feel that should have went down. And Obama did not do enough there. He did not do enough on the stimulus to really, make a difference. He did not get the gays back in the military before, this time, which he's had 20 months to do that. And I wouldn't think that was a big deal since, it seems to be favored by everybody. But this is where he's taking the hit. This is everybody's pissed. The Tea Partiers, I think, are a mixed batch. Some of them are radical conservatives that have joined that party just to be radical. And there's others that are genuinely pissed because, they don't like the way the economy is going. And so I think there's mixed people within that Tea Party. And I don't know that a lot of them know what the real story is. I'm not sure I know what the real story is.
yeah. I think Jim is, I don't know if he's coming around, but I notice he's changing his viewpoint. I think he's starting to realize that capitalism is actually evil. And it's taken a while. It takes a while for Jim to change his mind, but I think he's slowly coming around, and he's starting to understand the viewpoints that we express. Here's
the way I feel about that. That capitalism eventually leads to greed. Greed sets in and eventually leads to socialism because to offset the greed. It's a vicious cycle to me. You can see it happening, the world over if you go back in history. Things just cycle around. Somebody takes over as king, they go too far with it and don't take care of their people. The people get in an uprising and have a revolution, and then they overthrow the government. It's happened a lot in South America. It's happened a lot, out in Russia and China and various places out there. But, I think they want to hold on to it as long as they can to make as much money as they can. Then they don't give a shit about the poor people that's going to, get affected by it after capitalism finally fails. Totally.
I won't be able.
Democracy looks like that.
I won't be able to get there. But what I want to express, maybe you can relay this to Jim.
I can't this Tuesday because I'm election judge for the whole, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until, probably 10 or so at night. I'm working the afternoon shift out in Credit River Township, but I will take down a note and bring it up the following Tuesday if you got something to bring up.
Actually, I just forgot what it was. But it relates to
We talked about capitalism.
Being rich is unfair, and the reason why I want to tax the rich. That's one of the things on 60 Minutes tonight is the tax. If you're making over 200,000, I guess they implement a 5 or 10% tax. It steps up every time. If you're making $500,000, it steps up. And Jim would be like just furious about this. This would have been, say, a year or two ago. And
he'll say it's on principle, but it's not on principle. It's because he fits that category. And he doesn't want to admit that he's got that much, but he'll say, well, I don't like the principle of that.
I don't.
How much is a damn lie?
Does he make that much or what?
I'm sure he's well-to-do. Let's put it that way.
Well, I think
if he isn't a multi-millionaire, by that I mean more than $2 million, I'd be real surprised. Real surprised.
I don't know.
I'm sure he's worth somewhere between 1 and 10. Let's put it that way. That's just my gut feeling.
I think he had good years, but I don't. Yeah, I can believe he's worth that, but I don't think he's making a huge amount these years. So, for him to take a stand, it's not him personally that's taking a stand because he's rich or making more than $200,000 a year. I don't think he is. Not these latest years. I believe in the past he probably had some good years.
His parents did a lot of residency overseas, and I'm sure they came across a lot of wealth, and I'm sure he's inherited it, and I never hear him talk about any brothers that he's got or sisters. I think he has got one sister he talks about. But he may have inherited a lot that he's trying to hang on to.
Well, that's a different kind of tax. I mean, we're talking about income tax.
Yeah.
I mean, the year tax is the one we've been talking about, and he defends it now. The thing is, there's not what is it, 300 million in this country? There's not 100 million people in this country that are making over 200,000 a year. But there's a lot of people that defend that principle. So I don't think you should assume that Jim is making huge bucks. I think we should ask him first. Let's ask him, Jim, are you making? Is that why you defend this principle? We should ask him that.
We can't really do that, from a moral standpoint or ethical standpoint, to ask him how much he makes. Like, you can assume how much John Pelican makes because he works for the state. You can assume how much John Anderson makes because he drives transit. And those are all public records. But Jim's stuff is private, and can't really ask him. You can ask him, but I think it would be an insult to him to even ask. All I can do is estimate, from what he's doing for work right now, and he doesn't seem to be, pushing it real hard, so I'm sure he's made his bundle, so to speak, already.
Yeah,
and
he works out of his house, I mean, if he was big, he'd be having an office,
Well, the thing is, look at all the tax incentives just at that, having an office in your home. I mean, that right there's a write-off.
You missed my point. I'm just saying he doesn't act like he's very rich. I mean, I'm sure he's I'm sure he's okay, but he doesn't act like he's making. But he does defend the principle, and the thing is being rich is unfair because of what we've been talking about. You are able to afford the lobbyists who can then write the laws that then hook your company up, and that gives me more money, which went to funnel into the lobbyists, and you get into a cycle there of unfairness.
And it's self-fueling.
Huh?
It fuels itself. Like you just said, they get more money, and therefore they have more money to buy people with. Then they get more money.
Right.
Just like,
and that's what's unfair. That's what I've been trying to tell Jim why it's unfair. He's been defending, and yet he has slowly been transforming. It takes him a year or two.
But
So then that gives us a reason to go to Socrates, right?
well, that's the thing. I can't
If
get.
we can bend him a little bit, and I get bent a little bit in his, vein too. If I didn't go to Socrates, I'd probably say, well, Obama really has done good so far. No, he really has not done all that great so far. So it moderates me, and I'm sure it moderates him. And we talked about this, I think, the last time, because we brought up the fact that we can talk about these things. We're out in public, people throw bricks at each other and hit each over the head with baseball bats and shoot each other over it. At soccer games, we can talk about it, and we know what our stances are, but we do it in a civil manner.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it. And, and you're getting, if more people would come, we'd have a better feeling for the whole community. But I think America, in general, is so terrified and afraid and so ignorant and so religiously tied that they can't stomach a Socrates Cafe type thing. I brought that up the last meeting. There was those two Baptist ladies that was dressed to the nines that came when we were still down at Starbucks. And the first time they were there, I mentioned that I was an atheist. The next time, only one of them came. I even bought her a coffee or offered to buy her one. I don't remember if she accepted it or not. That was the last time she came. Those two guys, Luke and John, came. And they came to prophesize. They wanted to spread their religion there, And they wanted to argue about their religion there and make conversions and evangelize. And they decided, hey, I don't think these people are going to do that because they're hardcore, I mean, they might have beliefs, they might not, but they're not going to change a thing there.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of, those two gals never showed up again, as far as I know. But we don't have a lot of returning people other than the hardcore of us, Steve, you, Jim, myself, Sarah, and John, and John Pelican. These are the ones that, really keep interested in it. Now, this Polly came time before last, and she said she was going to come this last Tuesday, but then she didn't show up either. And she's the one that's working 3 jobs, got kids at home, and a single parent, and she's having hell of a time and with making her payments. All right, I'm going to have to answer the door here pretty soon, I guess, but I'm on the next shift for trick-or-treaters. But, I keep bringing up questions similar to the way you feel, we're going to hell in a handbasket if we let this capitalism run rampant without regulation, and if we allow this greed to keep on going, and that the wealthier you are, the more taxes you should be willing to pay, if nothing else, to keep a revolution from happening, because people are going to see that you got a lot more than they got, and they can't get to that status because you got it all. It's like the banks right now holding the money. They won't give small businesses loans. So they are in the predicament of, well, if you're just going to keep all the money, we're not going to get any better, and we're just going to get to be a sicker nation. So it's frustrating, and I think this election is not going to help it. As a matter of fact, if what is predicted happens, that Republicans and the Tea Partiers, gain a lot of footholds within the Congress and possibly even the Senate, it's going to be a stalemate, standoff next 2 years, and it's based on racism. They really don't like the fact that a black man is president, especially a smart alecky one, as they would term it, because he's got more smarts than the last dummy that they put in there, the puppet. And that's what I think this whole thing is about. You can see that they've done nothing to support him and gotten their whole clan together of GOP House and senators and strictly stonewalled a know-nothing approval, even though some of these things they believe in and have proposed before, being Obama proposes them, they have said, no, we're not going to support that. Now, that's bullshit, They're not helping the country, and they're not. I'm just answering a survey on, matter of fact, that's what I was doing on the computer. Like I said, I got 60 minutes on, just finishing up now, and the wife's been answering the door, but I've been doing this, you polling, let me see if I can get it back here again. If I can get rid of this thing that I got on screen. Go back to history. it's YouGov polling point. And it says, thank you for sharing your opinion. So I just did that survey, and it's highly political, of course, and I asked you very personal questions, but I agreed to do this survey, and it comes around like once every 2 or 3 weeks. It's got to do with an internet site that I requested from U.S. Congress to inform me when certain bills are coming up and that sort of thing. So, and they keep, you know, if you don't do it, they keep sending another email, hey, you agreed to do this, you know. So please, to read some of our latest results or take another survey, please visit the polling point homepage. And you support universal health care, poll of the day. And it's got, I can send you a link to this if you want to do these polls. It helps a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Let me shift you that, and you can register as a member, you know, log in, and if you're not a member yet, you can sign up. But I find them pretty interesting. You can follow them on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't have Twitter or Facebook, but I think it's kind of a neat thing. At least you're expressing your opinion to somebody that I haven't really researched. I got this through a congressional thing, but it's not really connected with the government. It's a government monitoring site that monitors what politicians are doing and what bills they're working on. So I'll send you that link, and you can see what it's all about. It's YouGov Poll Metrics, nonpartisan polling thing.
I'm starting to miss the group. I've been having some good experiences with the group my last couple times I've been there. I just find what I've been finding recently is my opinion counts. It seems like before it was like, Chris, you're like a piece of dirt, Chris. We don't want to listen to you. I
don't think it's. If you got that impression, I don't think it comes from the majority of us.
No, I mean, John Pelican shunned me down one time.
Well, he's so, you know, he's got a broomstick up his ass, and he's so rigid that he's hard to bend, and I'm sure that Shannon is probably, you know, I don't know, women probably are more afraid of you than anything because of your being extroverted. And maybe they see that as some kind of threat or something, I don't know, but I've never, you know, never come to that conclusion, and neither I don't think is John Anderson, and even Jim I don't think is all that.
What's extroverted?
Outgoing. Very outgoing, rather than holding to yourself like that Kathy that used to be the little bank gal, remember her? That had kind of a speech impediment. You remember that gal?
Okay.
She would never, you know, she'd come to those things, but she never posed a question, and she never got into conversation. She just come and listen, you know, and she finally gave up, quit coming. But she came from when we were down in the Starbucks, and then when we transferred over to that wood place, Woodfire Grill or whatever it was, and then after we moved back to Caribou, she came once or twice, and that was it. She didn't come in. But
I don't know.
I don't think everybody knows that. I think that you've got, you know, your work cut out for you, being, you know, with the job thing and everything. And by the way, how is that going? If you got anything?
I got a second test coming up on a week from Tuesday, so hopefully I'll be certified, and I'll look for a job. And you know, I may be, you know, my time in Minnesota may be shortcoming here. I'm not sure Minnesota wants me to get. I don't think Minnesota is anxious for me to work here. I think I'm blackballed.
Where would you go?
I'm blackballed. You know, wherever the job is, you know. Well,
Yeah.
I think I'm blackballed from the computer community. That stems.
I bet I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's just you know, but yeah, you know, when I first moved, and then I you know, I hadn't seen Socrates, I was like, you know, I don't miss that at all, because I was just getting dissed all the time. I was just getting,
disrespected at many levels, and I'm like, I think not only do I have a say, but I feel that I have very important things to say, and that what I'm saying is correct, and that everybody else is wrong. But that's the problem. That's the problem with philosophy, is everybody thinks that they're right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah, well, you can't say that everybody else is wrong because they think they're right in their own mind. But have you followed Socrates' questions on the meetup group?
No.
Do you get meetup notices?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, do you subscribe to Meetup?
I have on some. Are you saying that this one is on Meetup?
Yeah, the Socrates Burnsville Cafe Tuesdays on Meetup. It shows that you can, log in there and become a member and participate that way. And with that, John does a recap of each meeting on which questions were asked and which one won. And then he has a little who said what as this question progressed for the night. And I'll tell you what, no matter what I say and how much I say, he never puts me on that list. It's always about Jim or Ron or Shannon or, it's like if Dick says something, he won't even put me on there.
Who's this? John who?
John Anderson. The John that runs the moderator.
Well, he doesn't
respect. He does the.
John doesn't respect me either that much. I mean, lately I think he's. I think when my absence from the group, I think they start to realize what they're missing. I mean, I think they start realizing that maybe that's the impression I'm getting, is that all of a sudden they're almost missing me, or they miss my input because they're starting to realize that that makes sense or something. I don't know, but.
I always thought your questions were, and your input was good. I never, there was nothing. I posed more cynical questions than anybody there, and I know you write a lot of your thoughts down as you go, and I don't do that, and I should. Larry does that too. He writes stuff down as we go, and then that helps him remember what he's going to ask. But a lot of times I don't do that, and then when it comes time to Dick, you had a question. Yeah, but I forgot what it was now, because I didn't write it down. But my thoughts are, I try to train my brain to do that without writing it down, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, I just found the group here. I was part of some other ones. Evidently, here's John's picture. I see his picture here. I have to sign up here, and that way I'll get on the list and I'll see at least the topics. Do they talk about stuff or just a recap?
No, he doesn't give a verbatim report on the hour and a half. It's just he picks out certain highlights. But I know I say as much as anybody in those. I get plenty of chances to talk, but he never puts down what I say. And I think he did this last time. He put Dick said this, and that's the first time in about 5 or 6 weeks that I've been looking at it that he's said, that he even put my name down. So it's like, I don't regard Dick's opinions as worthy of, recapping. It's like Dick's too cynical, and this isn't helping the problem, So, matter of fact, we had a pretty good offline discussion, off-premises discussion online, I should say. A question that Ron brought up here 2 weeks ago. And some guy that had been monitoring the site got in the conversation, because after it was over with, I posed the question online, because John says, well, how'd you like this meeting? So I said, well, I like this meeting, but we never answered the question or came up with a valid answer for the question that Ron posed. And but here's my thought on that, that we should have carried the question further. And I don't even remember what the topic was now, but I've got it written down here someplace. And then this Jim B comes on the line and says, well, I think this. I mean, he had a real dissertation. Of course, it wasn't Jim Boer. And Jim Boer says, who the hell is this? That could be me. I could be Jim B. And you've made me look like I was Jim B. And so then the guy wrote back, well, I'm Jim Baker. And Hi, girls. You want to put down some candy?
What do you guys want?
A butterfly and a leopard gel, I think. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Anyway, that was an ongoing conversation for a little bit. That was mostly between Jim Bolar, myself, and this Jim Baker, who I've never met. He said, I can't make it to the meetings, but I like the topics. So there's other people monitoring this site that are looking at what we're doing, but they don't come to the meetings. And there's a lot of them that, you know, that husband and wife combination that came a couple times, you probably noticed. They come just rarely. They don't make every meeting. They go 1 out of 4 or 5. And I don't know why, but they seem to be real interested in. They're very intelligent people.
I think the reason why people don't come is because it can be frustrating to find out things. It goes back to what's the use in coming there if you can't do anything about it. I mean, I think that's the reason why some people don't come back. And in some aspect, it's kind of why I was glad to leave, because I was getting tired of having all the answers and you can't do anything about it, right?
No, what I would tell you is that you don't even go to these meetings hoping to change anybody's mind. You know, you just hope to put yours out on the table, and then you may find somebody that'll side up with you. Dave and I, and Steve, and you, all seem to be on pretty much the same side of the picture, where John Anderson's probably in the middle someplace. He's confused. But Bolar and John Pelican, the economist, they seem to side together a lot. Where I think John Pelican doesn't go all the way as far as Jim does, but you know, he sticks with it most of the time in most of his principles. So, you know, I want to hear the opposite side's opinion, like, what are you people thinking? I want to know that. I don't care if you change your mind or not. I just want to know what you're thinking, and hopefully that'll help me determine what I can do about it, if I want to do something about it. Or how can I really change people?
So you still...
I left the atheist group because I found that they weren't gathering any new members at the speed that I thought they should be if they had a good message. And every time we met, it was, denouncing Christians and preaching to the choir. And I thought, well, that's good camaraderie for a while, but it got to be old stuff. I mean, because we weren't gaining anything. We weren't expressing our feelings of the word. We weren't stopping any Christians from becoming Christians. We weren't creating any new atheists. We were spending a lot of money at spinning our wheels, and I said, there's no point in being a member of this. So if I'm to, in my big thing in life right now is I want to keep religion out of our government. I think it's going to be the fate of our nation if religion takes a toehold within our government, and they sure as hell are trying to make this a theocracy. And that's the one thing I belong to the peace movement for, because the wars in the world are caused mostly by religion ideology, in my estimation, in my humble opinion. And that, you can, on the surface, they might look like something else. They might look like corporations after oil and everything else, but it's about religion. And the betterment of the white Christian man is what I want to say against the dark Islamic man. That's what the whole thing boils down to. So we're waging this war without maybe even realizing that we're doing it. And my thing in life is I'd like to stop those wars, and I would like to keep any government from becoming a theocracy, because I think they don't make sense when they act on their beliefs rather than on rationale. That's how I feel about that. so that's why I'm a member of the peace movement. That's why I go to Socrates, and that's why I quit the atheist group. I still monitor those atheist groups, see what they're doing. I do work with atheists on a highway cleanup, the Adopt a Highway program. That same group I belong to, I volunteer 3 times a year to go clean up highway with them, but I don't give them any money or go to any of their other meetings because it's preaching to the choir shit. And that's not progressive.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not liking it out here in where I'm at.
I don't know, where are you now?
I'm in a couple hours away, so I'm in Redwood Falls, and it's
You
that's,
went back and stayed with your mom, or?
no, I'm in an apartment right now. But
She was out of town too, and that's why I connected that dot there. But
yeah, me and my folks are getting a little senile. My mom especially, and so we're kind of disagreeing a lot, arguing a lot. So I'm not, it's not the best picture with my mom right now.
yeah, I thought your mom was a pretty intelligent gal and was well read, for what I've seen of her.
Yeah, she just, she's kind of losing it a little bit.
It's hard to hear that because,
Well, you may not know it just by going to a meeting. It's she's just a little bit stubborn, and maybe that's just a way. I think when people get older, they start to become more stubborn and stuck in their ways, and
that's true.
less open-minded. That's why I don't know. I mean. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a job again so that I can, become a little more productive.
Live the life of the expected life in the United States.
Say again?
Living the life of the American dream, so to speak.
Well, I mean, Jim, Dick, I've got a business. I mean, this I have truth under oath, which is I should be a millionaire right now. I should be a millionaire, and it just sucks that I have to go back and work a regular job when I've already implemented something that's incredible. And I know you've never tested this truth under oath thing, but it's actually pretty effective. It's actually, I don't know, when I enter the courtroom, it's a whole new story. It's a whole different atmosphere. You've heard of, do you know what I'm talking about? First of all,
yeah, I think you challenged me one time on taking that oath.
Yeah.
And having it notarized.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Steve did accommodate me about 2 or 3 years ago, and I guess you could say he beat me. He just signed it. The thing is I just cannot get enough people to accommodate me, and for the most part, well, especially when I enter the courtroom, nobody's able to challenge me. It's just so strange. When Steve did it, I was just like, well, finally somebody's going to play along with my game, right?
Yeah.
It would have been nice finding you or some other people to challenge me as well and prove me wrong. But
the fact that I didn't see the point to it, what would it accomplish?
Well, I prevent people from lying, and that's what the accomplishment is. It's actually a miracle. It's actually the only miracle on the planet. So
there is no miracles, but define it as such, without, a miracle is a supernatural event.
That's what I'm saying, Dick, is that I've created a supernatural events on the planet. That's what makes me God. That's what makes me Jesus. At the same time, it's also not quite real. In other words, I have control of people when they're under oath. And that's not a real event, and getting proof of it is elusive because few people want to play along with the game. And yet...
Yeah, I think that may be what, people fear because of what you just said, that if they're approached with that thought, then they think you're some sort of wacko and you don't really, you're not being sincere about it, which I know you are. But I don't see what it will accomplish,
Dick, I'm being sincere, and I'm willing to bet people that I'm willing to bet anybody that I'm God. I'm willing to bet people. I put ads out on Craigslist. All you got to do is make a sworn statement that's similar to what I've asked you to do, telling me that I'm not God.
That's the problem. I don't even think God is God. I'd be an atheist. I don't believe in any God of any kind.
Thing is, Dick,
that's my thing.
I back up what I say with money. I'm willing to bet people money, and so So what I was getting at earlier with getting a job is that this sucks because I've implemented something incredible, and yet I have to go back and work a peon's wage, doing computer work. So it sucks. It sucks that everybody's making get fun of me at Socrates because not to fun, but they're Steve's last meetings is criticizing me. Are you happy that or being a sponge on the community? Are you why have you been doing this for 8 years? Right?
I'm gonna say you can't help the situation you're in. You can't help it. At this point.
The thing is,
you may have at one time. I don't know, but you can't help it at this point, and that's where I sympathize with you.
The thing is, Steve,
I don't think anybody else feels that way because I know that they know your problem is real and exists. I'm sure Jim even feels that way about it. But
well,
because we kind of went along with the name change thing at one time, thinking maybe that would get you out of a situation that you could start over.
Yeah, and I've implemented that name change. I'm Tony Roller now. But what I didn't get a chance to tell Steve is that and everybody that I've actually been working hard creating what I call a miracle service. And it's not just creating. I created it about 3 years ago. The problem is convincing people, for one, that it exists, and two, convincing a government that's corrupt, a legal system that's corrupt and full of devil's advocates that don't want truth available. Why should they pay me? So they brush me under the floor, whenever possible. Judges always rule against me if I take somebody to court. Lawyers disrespect me. They don't abide by any of the things that I ask, unless only way I can get them to do anything is if I sue them, and then when I sue them, they do nothing in the process. And it's frustrating to say the least. That I've implemented a miracle. Nobody will pay me for it. Dick won't even play along with this game to see what's going on, to see this miracle service. I can't even get my friend Dick to play along with this. How frustrating! And then now I got to go back to work. I got to work my ass off to make us a few bucks when I should be making $1 million a day implementing this service. You see?
Well, I don't know who's making $1 million a day right now because there ain't many doing it.
No, that's what I should be making. That's what I should be making for this service.
Well, that would be a matter of opinion of the people that were taking in the service, I guess. Most people aren't even interested in it in the first place.
People are interested in truth, Dick. I mean, that's what Jim talks about a lot. Is a truth machine.
He talks about it, but people are not interested in the truth. They're interested in their truth. I had a good article. Matter of fact, that had a lot to do with this online discussion we had on Socrates. And one of the things that came up was an article I read right after that meeting. And I'm going to send you that article along with the link to that political polling place that I was telling you about. And you can kind of look at what the truth is. It came in Skeptic Magazine, but it was posted online also. And there's like 4 different kinds of truth. And there's logistica truth. There's what the heck were the other ones? There's 4 kinds, that some based on beliefs and some are real, empirical. I just have to send you the article, or the link to it. And you can see what people are looking at as truth. And that's come because of a question that Ron posed on beliefs, I think it was. Because it's what do people believe and why type of thing. As a matter of fact, if you got that meetup thing, you can go back and look at the past week's questions for the last 8 weeks or so, I think.
Yeah.
And see what took place.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to drive to town. You can always, get in on the question after John posts it, for whoever wants to talk about it after that.
Yeah.
But I will dig that back out of my files here and send you that too, and you'll see that there is no truth. It's what everybody perceives the truth to be, based on these 4 different tunnels that they look through.
Yeah. Life is frustrating. I mean, it's
It is that.
here I'm talking to an atheist trying to tell him that I'm God. I mean, who would have imagined that kind of a conversation, right?
Yeah, that's true. And that came up in our last meeting too. That I expressed as to why I'm an atheist, because somebody else said they was raised Catholic, and so I was raised Catholic too. But after that, I grew away from it after I went and met the rest of the world. That was basically when I joined the Navy, because otherwise I was around all these Catholic kids in a Catholic school. And those were my friends. And my whole family was Catholic, on both sides. That's how they got together, even though they were 2 ethnic differences. My dad, having immigrated to this country with his parents, and both my other grandparents had immigrated to this country. They all were raised Catholic in 2 different countries. And I just got to see the rest of the world when I went in the Navy, and got away from it for about 4 years. Came home and tried to rejoin what I was doing. And I thought, this is phony shit, So I got married, and I married a Protestant woman that I had to take 2 instructions in the Catholic Church so that she would honor raising our children in a Catholic Church. And I thought, after that, I said, what have I done here, And it's like, good grief. Both kids were baptized, and one made his first communion, and about that time I thought, this is bullshit, And then we started going to church to sit in the back pew, all dressed up on Sunday, just as a discipline for an hour. You will be quiet and dress up every Sunday and clean up and sit here for an hour and meditate. And then after that, I said, no, you don't have to do that. We can go fishing and meditate out on the water. And we did that for a while, and then I thought, I'm really a pantheist. I believe that, everything in the universe is a God. And then I thought, after I got involved with the atheists, it's like, no, I'm not really a pantheist. I'm really an atheist. I don't believe in any gods. I think that when you die, your brain, over your lifetime, you self-unconsciously programmed to give yourself this dying experience, making it look like an eternity because of the time warp. And as your brain deteriorates, these things fire off and bring back all the stuff you've stored, and you think this is a lifetime, and it soothes your dying process. And so therefore, you go through the point where you see these wonderful things because you set them up in your brain to be wonderful. And that's what churches do. I mean, they set these things up, and it's almost like a subliminal hypnotism that's delayed until you reach that point where you die, and that's when you conjure these things back out, and it allows you to go peacefully, so to speak. You know, who knows what dying's like? It might be a wonderful experience. You know, nobody's ever come back to say, not that anybody's anxious to do it, just like Clint Eastwood said, nobody's anxious to get there. But that, you know, that's after 73 years of being around it, I have come to that conclusion, and if there's a God, I don't want to live with him at all anyway, because if the Bible is his book, he has some very nasty things there and is very self-centered. So I think that's where I'm at with God. I don't want to be with him forever and ever in heaven because I think it would be boring. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you look pretty good for 73, I gotta say. Yeah, you're up there in age.
Well, I'm deteriorating fast too. You know, I can feel it coming on. Here, my wife and I are both on phones, and I hear more trick-or-treaters out there, so yeah, here they are. You're going to have to help yourself, folks. Hello, Darth Vader. Who else is over there? Ooh, Scream is there. Hey, good costume, Seth. Yeah, it's Spencer. There's some neat ones there. Scream and Darth Vader and... it wasn't Darth Vader. It was White. Oh, I got another phone call on the other line.
All right, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
Okay, my oldest son's calling from Washington, so.
Talk to you later. Nice talking with you.
Call anytime.
Okay.
Now we'll talk about it. All right.
Bye.
I'll send you that stuff.
Okay, bye.
As soon as we get off the phone. All right. Bye.
Sorry, but we're unable to answer the phone right now. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Ursula, it's Chris Waller from Apartment 2. Yeah, I had my tires slashed, as you know. I'm trying to find out what's going on. I'm having a little difficulty with the downstairs neighbor, Dan Okins. And I was wondering if I did a past record history of the tenants that lived up here, because it looks like there's a lot of tenants that left up here, and I'm wondering if they had vandalism as well. I suspect that Dan downstairs vandalized my car and also kicked in the garage wall that you noticed that I did seal up. I'm a little concerned for my safety here. I am unsure just how long. I'm just not sure, you know, how long. I don't know. I just have some concerns. I don't know what to do here, because there appears to be a security problem here at the apartment complex. Evidently, I may have made some noise up here, and that's when he kicked in the garage door, the garage wall. Back when my kids were here, I guess my kids were making some noise. There's a lot of us. It's just not. Anyways, give me a call sometime. 507-637-0918. So I don't know. I just need a little peace of mind. I'm not sure what's happening here at this apartment. A little bit of security. If he's willing to kick in a garage wall, I'm not sure how my safety is going to be concerned here. anyways, give me a call, 507-637-0918. Thanks, bye.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania office. And, gosh, before that, after I left the Navy in 94, I was in manufacturing leadership jobs for about 12 years. And did everything from a shift supervisor to a plant manager's job, and then eventually found my way to this line of work. So,
Cool.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds, it's good to hear that somebody's successful. I haven't, my road has not been so good. My road's, went to college, you know, and got an electrical engineering degree and
Good.
computer programming, but life fell apart a while, about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, right now I'm bipolar and I'm disabled. I am,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a crime too, but I thought I was Jesus or something a while. In 99, I said this to a psychiatrist. Within 5 minutes, I'm diagnosed bipolar, and I'm like, what's going on? It's anyway. So it's been dealing a little bit with. I'm actually a pretty talented person. It's just that it's hard for people to deal with. The guy that the stigma of mentally ill, not to mention maybe this guy that thinks he's God or Jesus or something.
Right.
So it's been a little bit tough road for me.
Yeah.
Trying to get certified right now in .NET, so hopefully get employed again. I've been doing some things in the legal system, and I was kind of hoping for some money from that, but it's just not working out. So.
Okay.
Oh boy. You guys don't need any. You guys use .NET programmers at your corporation?
None at all.
Okay.
I in particular are very far removed from any of the computer work that gets done. You know, my daily job is more dealing with clients and managing money. And yes, I work on a computer every day, but gosh, nobody in this office, nor do I, get involved at all with actual computer work per se. You know, hardware or software, really. It's all handled at a corporate level.
Yeah. Just asking. Never know if you got. But I was talking to Jeff Orbison, and I found out that Reese Killian is dead.
That's interesting.
Did you know this?
I did not. Do you know what happened?
Oh, you don't know anything. Okay, I figured you'd know.
I did not.
I figured you know
No.
something.
Mm-mm.
Well, I was told that it was a murder-suicide. He killed his wife and then himself.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you didn't hear about this?
No, I have not. No. Where was? Well, hang on. Back up. Where do you live now?
I'm in Minnesota, sir.
Oh, Minnesota. And where was he living? Do you happen to know?
I do not. I am completely flabbergasted. I was just gonna, I was just touching base. I found Jeff on the Facebook and
Yeah.
I was just touching base, and I was just,
It's interesting, this call, because actually I was at a football game a weekend or so ago, and went with a bunch of friends, and I actually pulled out our cruise book from the Med Cruise back in 1990.
Yeah.
And it was actually the first time I had probably looked at that in about 15 or 20 years. But so that's interesting. There's actually very few, if any, people from South Carolina that I've kept in touch with, because I left the Navy in '92. So for me, it's quickly coming up on 18, almost 20 years.
oh, okay. I thought you said you were until 95.
No, 94. I left the Navy in '94. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me back up. I did leave the Navy in '92. I moved to where I am now in 1994.
Okay. 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 I guess I'm just trying to find out somebody that knew what happened.
Yeah.
Because
I wouldn't even know where to begin to offer some thoughts. Unless, how did you said Jeff knew? How did he get word, or where did he hear information?
Well, he was in Jeff got his degree. He came back in as officer, and so he was in for 23 years. So
Okay.
So I guess he found out through the grapevine, but maybe I might talk with him again. I just thought he worked for you, so I figured you would have heard something at this point. I'm just confused because something happened on the ship that I might have some information about. If there's an investigation of some sort, I had along with my my delusions of being this Jesus guy. By the way, you ever see the movie The Truman Show?
Parts of it, yes.
Well, take the word Truman, break it up into 2 syllables. True Man.
Right.
Based on a true man. They made a movie about me. That's
Okay.
I think it's about me.
Okay.
In other words, my show was that ship for a while there. And let me see if I can find his name. Oh, I think you remember McKinley?
Yes, yes.
I call him what I call a type explicit actor. In other words, he was actually assigned on the ship to keep an eye on me because they knew trouble was stirring. And I think I got the right guy. I think that's the right one. It's kind of what I'm saying is I realize that I'm sounding a little bit odd, but if you can just bear with me a little bit here. I thought that my psychic senses back in '99, when all this was happening, and I lost my mind I just was in this weird world for 6 months. And part of the journey was my mind telling me, wow, Chris, you're the true man in the Truman Show. Wow. And you're Jesus and you're God, and here's why. Here's what's going on. Here's this. Remember the Navy? Remember what happened in this and this and this and this? Remember all those incidents, those crazy, everything was happening on that ship? It's because there was something going on. And part of it, I sent a letter. I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I guess one of the guys that was on the ship was named Shoop, and he kept bothering me. So one day he's in the barracks bragging that he had been sexual with somebody in France or something. Anyways, for some reason, I don't know, I'm not exactly proud of this, but I sent an anonymous letter to his wife.
Okay.
And from that point on, and I was even unaware of it, but I guess it was a sting on. And I'm told in '99, this is '99, I realized, hey Chris, remember all this back then? Remember all that? Remember this and that? Yep, that was a sting. They were trying to find out who sent it. And I think that Reese got blamed for it. I think Reese, and when I heard that he died, and my mind told me that he had been murdered. He had been murdered because they got blamed for this letter. And so what I'm contacting you about is because I'm curious if it wasn't a murder-suicide, but if he was just actually murdered.
Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, all this is actually news to me, so I don't know anything about it.
All right. Like I say, I'm not exactly proud of this story that I'm telling you, but I feel a little bit of guilt here. If he got, remember the commotion in which somebody insulted his wife and he sort of had to physically restrain somebody? And I was talking with you. You were asking me about this, whether it was appropriate. I remember this conversation vividly. It was this was part of the sting. These guys were jolting, they're poking, killing him to try to figure like an animal. And when he, it was so abrupt, it was so outrageous what they were doing. I mean, this comment about his wife was just so outrageous that I realized that was it. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to poke and prod at the animal and see what he would do. And I wouldn't be talking with you right now if I didn't find out just 4 days ago that Reese is dead.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm glad to talk to you. I'm glad to get a hold of you. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. But I'm concerned. I
have to admit, I don't. All of this is news to me, and I'm not aware of any of the circumstances or anything.
I don't know what year he died. Maybe I have to talk with Jeff then again and find out. Maybe he can find some things out.
Sounds like it would be your best approach, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I probably gave you too much information. I don't know. This is nothing. I don't know. This is a strange thing that. But, yeah, I'm glad to hear you're doing good. I've got a story called MyTrumanShow.com if you want to hear about the story. It's it's a kind of a biography of my events and my transition to a little bit of delusion, but.
Yeah, I've got other commitments I got to run to now, but I certainly wish you the best.
Okay, yeah, yeah, nice to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll see you, Chris.
Bye-bye.